Hello everyone! Using the example of making a handle for a handbag, I want to show you all nuances what are similar to the stages of making the entire accessory by hand. The bag can take months to make, but the handle can be made in a day. You will need canvas for sure, and braid for finishing the reverse side of your handle. Special fittings will be needed for attachment to the product. There is actually a huge variety, and you can choose the ones you need according to your needs. I need a holder just this wide, so what the finished embroidered strip can move comfortably, nicely inside. Well, of course, you need to understand the size. And in this case, the mathematics is simple. I want to make a 15 centimeter strap, which means the total length of embroidered canvas should be 2 times larger. And I measure 30 centimeters plus the embroidery shrinkage factor, because I embroider on my hand. I'm not using hoop. This is very important. Remember this. Of course, I will need a needle, and it's already ready on my favorite cherries. I love them. In this case, there is a very small working surface, as you can see, and I need to figure out what kind of embroidery pattern I can use to embroider, like to tie the main product and the handle together, like to marry them with each other. And in the motif of the main design, I use gradient stripes. You see, I love this method very much when I work with mixed techniques, double cross stitching, cross stitching. And it seems to me what for the handle this will be the ideal solution. I feel this way, and I will start right now these threads. My first thread is black, and I threaded through the needle. Please note what I embroider with 6 thread on 11 count canvas. This is very important note. For embroidery on a thinner canvas, floss is usually divided into 2 or 3 threads. It's up to you. Why do I start with black thread? Everything is very simple. I will embroider from black as a shade of brown, beige, lightens to the lightest one, which I used in the main embroidery. I still have these threads, and I use them to decorate the handle. I arrange these colors to make it easier to work. You see, this way I actually like I like to be quite neat and keep all in order on my working table in my studio. It's better for me. It's giving for me a special vibe. I like space, and I like all at exact place supposed to be. But you can do whatever you like, whatever you feel comfortable. Just only this actually really important. And you can see in my hands this piece of canvas what soon will transform into a handle. And right now it's time to start to embroider. Actually, it's very exciting moment. It's very simple and very important at the same time. So I don't make knots. I just thread the thread from the inside and leave the small tail. And make the first stitches, just keeping it in mind, so what doesn't slip out. That's it. And please note what in this case I start working half stitches up to the level of black I want, and I'm not embroidering like a guiding kind of pattern, right? So this is a freestyle. It's just designing pattern ornament during embroidering. So I will go up until I will feel like it's time to go down. So all very simple. And so I will stitch, as I said, up to the level of black. Will be enough for me in my idea. And then I go back down and finish each stitch. You see, so it was half cross, and right now going down, it's turning to the simple, similar, usual cross stitch. You see, it's very easier to perform. And using this principle, all colors will be embroidered one by one from dark to light, providing a gradient effect. As I said at the beginning, as I said earlier, this is my main idea. So all colors I will embroider little by little. I think I will speed up a bit embroidery to not make you watch longer. So the result of embroidery is such a cute strip, isn't it? Which will later become a handle for the accessory. I actually like it, and I believe simplest it's always the best. And for creating accessory, you will need to give it a desired shape and process the reverse side with this kind of braid. Choose only quality materials. Actually, I work with 100% cotton and introduce other organic materials. To make it easier to work, I usually iron the canvas as needed, and then the hemming is much easier. This is my way, so if you don't feel this way, you shouldn't, but for me, like this is really important. Remember about recycling, what I say about organic stuff, and please note what at the very beginning of the work you must think through all the smallest details, so what all your elements match in size, color, quality, and shape. You know what I don't use is sewing machine, and this is what ensures the highest quality of my products, and this is what also trains the fine motor skills of your hands, improving your health and your appearance. Allow yourself to enjoy the process and bring it to perfection. Each stitch matters, its tension and direction. All my seams are invisible, and this is the main indicator of the quality of handmade work, I believe this way. This technique allows you to preserve the beauty of embroidery, and if we embroidered our canvas for weeks before, I mean main canvas of accessory itself. Yes, it takes a lot of times. Then of course the last thing you want to ruin it. So any machine stitching in this case will be superfluous. Any. As you can see, I have the excess canvas to the wrong side, making sure that the thread doesn't remain visible from the front side. You see, I'm really very cautious and very careful about where I'm applying my needle, where exact in what color, yes, I'm stitching it. And this is only one part of invisible seam technique. So right now here I think it can also be speeded up since the process is simply repeated over and over again. So that you understand, this was an acceleration of 50 times. Now the basting is complete, and I need to cover the inside with braid without touching any cross on outside, so that there is a complete feeling of matching the black fabric and the cross-stitched canvas. And you know, an interesting thought just came to me about that metamorphosis have taken place with cotton in order to look different in braid, canvas and floss threads, because all of this is a cotton. Truly, transformation is an amazing experience, isn't it? Just give me feedback. I will be so happy to read something about this from you. So be alone with yourself more often, and each time you will remember more about your real self, and one day you will irrevocably become yourself again. So what I do is with canvas and braid is what I sew them millimeter by millimeter while I form the shape and stretch the thread as much as possible, so that there is not a single millimeter of gap between the fabrics. I need a perfect result. Sometimes you need to hurry, but in this case you need to maintain the rhythm and be in maximum concentration. I can again draw an analogy with yoga, which I practice with particular pleasure. Then the special skill is not a quick change of asanas, but the longest and most comfortable stay in each of them. So remember your posture, your hands, the beauty of a moment, and create. And again, I think I will put it on rewind. Time is a very, very valuable resource, and I share my knowledge with you without compromising your business. Everything to the point and only the most important thing. Well, the parts are connected perfectly, and all what remains is to fix everything on the fittings. Also as neatly as possible and invisible to prying eyes. Well, first I sew both parts of a strap with the same very neat stitch, fusing them with the wrong sides facing each other. For this case I need to pull in the middle, in the center of my future handle this way, and just take a needle and start. I already have prepared needle with black thread, and this time with a knot on the end of the thread. Well, as I say, this seam should be neat and visible, and the crosses should be aligned 1 to 1. This is also very important. Look at this, how I'm doing this assembling. Actually, it would be pretty strange to do all the previous work perfectly and now allow yourself to be careless, isn't it? What do you think? So for a true professional, all the smallest details are important, and they create the maximum impression actually. So we need a handle what can hold a filled clutch, which means what in addition to beauty, they also need to think about utilitarianism, durability, and ergonomics. So this is also a very important point, like I'm pointing your attention on this, because you also should be very careful in what stage of your crafting you're in present moment. So you have to understand what are you stitching, what part, for what purpose. And if we are doing handle right now, we should be absolutely clear in the point how person will use it. Yes, if it will bring comfort to hands, how it will looks together with accessory. So if it will be able to hold everything what can be filled in accessory, like a bag, clutch, pouch, whatever. So always, as I say previously, small details, it's extremely important. It's not just important, it's extremely important. As you can see, I will stitch this piece again and again until I'm absolutely sure of all the above mentioned parameters, as I say, about ergonomics and durability and beauty also. That's why the seam invisible. You see, I'm trying to pull in out my thread through black cross stitches, because I'm using for assembling, for sewing, black thread, and in this way will be more easier to hide my thread. So all very logical. Craft, it's for using brain. It's for really making logical and very stable, consistent decisions. That's why I love this very much, and that's why being a mathematician and cyberneticist, I'm really enjoying this process. You see, sometimes these can happen, like breaking thread or something else. No problems at all. So making another knot, yes. And as soon our previous work was done amazingly right, very beautiful and high quality, so not need to worry about what will be with your previous part of assembling. You see, just here taking sharp scissors, cutting off rest of broken tail thread, and continue from same place, or maybe like some millimeters back, and again stitching it perfectly, easily, the same rhythm. Nothing serious, not need to be any worried about this situation. So having returned the month to its final position, taking into account of all volumes, the lower part of the handle is stitched again and again. You see what I'm showing to you, what is really matter for me. To do it keeping stitch to stitch, like, you know, one by one, so all this gradient line should not be broken even from the side, but actually in 99% will be hidden. But anyway, this is important and should be high quality. It will bring even pleasure for your eyes and for your hands during assembling and creation. But here actually, what in this side, this is the most difficult area for my hands. And the strength is not always enough to pull the needle through dense layers of fabrics. You can see it. I'm trying it harder and harder, hard as possible, but sometimes it's really difficult. Here I discovered one more tail of broken thread, previously broken. So just need to use, as I say, sharp scissors and correct it. Nothing serious here, it's just cosmetic arrangement. And here in this part need to do all slower actually, and be absolutely sure about result, because it's very important. This handle should not be broken accidentally. And as I said, my strength of my hands not enough, so sometimes I'm using I need the help of pliers. They can use something else, so all up to you. So main thing is not to break the needle inside. This is really important. If it happens, will be not easy to remove it from handle, for example, and actually it's dangerous, so be careful and not injure your hand. You will definitely need them again. I mean, not hands, both of them. You will need them for future creations. In a similar way, you will need to secure the fitting from the top side. Yeah, so then you finish in this with pliers or any help from the bottom side. Then Actually, I'm finishing, it's like an intuitive process, so I'm not doing like a 10 times in one side, 10 times in another side. No, it's always coming up spontaneously and intuitively. So I'm just very tightly and at the same time very carefully will repeat the same process on the top side. And I want to mention right now what remember what the threads should not be visible from the front side. Why? They are doing always by hands, why we're not using sewing machine, exactly for this point. So it can be done 10 times faster, but it won't be any any better, and it will destroy all beauty of our hand embroidery production. It's like a killing hand embroidery by using machine on them. If it will be application, no problem, but in this situation it's unnecessary. And in this case, this process of sewing on the fastener does not take much time, as you can see. No, compare of our previous parts of assembling, previous parts of creating a handle from hand embroidered piece of canvas. And actually, I suggest you enjoy the entire process in real time. So this time I won't accelerate, no, in 50, not in 40, not in 30 times faster. Just look at this in maximum details and close-ups, and you can understand what was shown previously worth it, because handle really looks amazing. It's really looks authentic, original, unique. You see perfectly. You cannot even understand how it was sewed, how it was assembled together. So use this small guidance for crafting, for creating, and be happy.